Hello my fellow patients, in today's video I'll be trying to figure out what's the best weapon in Blade and Sorcery ever made. So I will be ranking how good it is by how good is the weight, how good is it by stabbing and slashing, and how good is it for amputation and decapitation. I know you're probably typing away in the comments saying,
Dr. Red, all you have to do is just grab these tier 4 weapons here. They're stronger because of how good it is by stabbing and slashing.
which you are correct, but sometimes people don't like stabbing or slashing. It is a good weapon overall, but sometimes it's just not. But first off, we gotta figure out what is your favorite type of weapons to use. If you like the daggers, I really recommend the combat dagger, since it's good for slashing and stabbing, and the weight is like not noticeable at all. It's also good for throwing, but I'm not really gonna count that. Since you can't decap or amputate, it's not really good, but I'm pretty sure you can amputate wrists. But I don't think you can do anything else. But it's probably one of the best daggers, actually probably the best dagger ever. But if you don't like throwing, then just use the wrist blade. I know I said that tier 4 weapons are somewhat bad, but the wrist blade is a really good weapon, especially since you can self-imbue it without dropping the weapon, which is really cool. It's not really good for throwing, but it is a really nice weapon, especially for stealth. So, if you like using daggers, I recommend these two. But, if you don't like using daggers, and you're more of a sword person, I really recommend the riding sword. A super duper classic. I think everyone loves this sword, but if you like something to use two hands, I really recommend the long sword. It's really good for amputation and decapitation, and it's pretty good for stabbing. It's basically the best weapon ever. If you want something more heavier, but you like swords at the same time, go to greatswords, and the greatsword, such an awesome name, right? The greatsword is probably one of the best greatswords they have. It's really good for long range, and it's good for stabbing and slashing, especially decapitation and amputation. I really recommend this greatsword, and once again, it's called a greatsword. The weight is not really noticeable when you're using two hands, but when you use one hand, it's somewhat noticeable. But it's actually really light, especially for a greatsword. So, I recommend using this greatsword. Now let's move on to axes. If you like a one-handed axe, I really recommend the bearded axe. The bearded axe is such a classic, and it's like one of the first ever weapons that were ever added to Blade and Sorcery. Really recommend this axe if you like using one hand. It's good for decapitation, and there's not really any weight, and it's good for throwing, slashing, all of that. But it's not really good for stabbing because you can't really stab with this, but it's good for chopping up limbs. But if you like using something that's more two-handed, I really like whatever that says, but I really like this one. It's such a good weapon. I feel really cool using this. Kind of reminds me of Skydance's giant game, Skydance's Behemoth. Really recommend that game, by the way. That's what I was saying. I really like this axe. It's really good, especially for two-handed. It's good for chopping up limbs and stuff. The weight isn't really that bad, but if you're using one hand, it's kind of bad. But it's really good. It's good for chopping up limbs. It's good for slashing and stuff. And if you're doing like a 3v1, then you can just go crazy. It's a really good axe. I'm not really a spears person, but I really recommend the bladed staff. It's a really nice weapon, especially for someone that does not like spears. I mean, there's a lot of different good options, but I really recommend the bladed staff. It's really good, and you feel like Donatello while you're just slashing and stuff. Once you master it, it's really fun to use, especially for clips and stuff. Now let's go to blunts. The Iron Mace, really good, especially for a one-handed blunt. If you like using one-handed blunts, then just use the Iron Mace. It's such a classic, it's really good. And it can do some pretty serious damage. So I really recommend that. But if you like two-handed blunts, I really recommend the War Maul. It's really good, especially if you have the Headbreaker mod. It's really easy to break their heads in. So I really recommend this weapon too. The weight is really bad, especially if you're playing with self-collision, I think that's what it's called. So I really recommend this weapon. Like, look at this serious damage, it's crazy. It's probably one of the most strongest weapons ever. So I really recommend this weapon if you like blunts. I'm not really going to talk about the bows because they all do the same exact damage, but I really recommend the war bow. It's just looks cool. There's not really anything to say about this because, once again, they all have the same damage, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer, but the Master Staff is one of the best staves. So I recommend this one if you like using staves and stuff. So yeah, just use this one. Now we're on to shields. This is gonna be hard because depending how you use a shield, like if you're good for blocking, then don't use this shield. Use this shield, especially for damage and stuff. But if you like using the boomerang skill, like that, then I recommend this one, because they can't like penetrate the ground like this one. Plus you feel like Captain America if you do it right. Especially if you want to hit like a chain of enemies, just use this one. But if you don't like throwing, just use this one for blocking. It's kind of sick. Now I'm gonna list like my top 3 strongest weapons in the game. Starting with number 3, I'll say the riding sword. I know it's a sword, it's supposed to be strong, but it's a really good weapon, especially for a one-handed sword. So I really rank this up because of how good it is, and I've been using it since day 1. But it's really good for decapitation, slashing. It's like everything all of above. It's really good. Next up is the long sword. Another sword, I know, I'm so basic. It's a really good weapon, especially for amputation, decapitation, stabbing, slashing. The weight isn't really noticeable when you're using one hand and 2 hands, so I really like this weapon. And now, coming in number 1 spot, I will say this 2-handed tier 3 axe. It's a really good axe, especially for chopping, slashing. I mean, you can't stab with an axe, but it's a really good weapon if you know how to use it. And if you know how to throw with axes, it could be really good. Or if you just don't like chopping, you could just use the handle as like a bow staff. It's a really good weapon, and I really recommend it. It's so underrated. I never see people with this weapon. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if I offended you, I'm super sorry, but the rusty weapons are terrible. And if your weapon was not listed on the top 3, tell me what weapon you use down below. By the way, I am not counting any mods, because it's a mod, they're usually OP. So without further ado, I'll see you guys probably next time. See ya.